Hello everyone. I'm very, sorry, I have to sit. It's in the morning. I'm really honored to be here with you. I'm really honored that the fact that you came here Friday morning, and you made a long way to Malais. So, well, who am I? I'm 35 this year. I'm a product designer. I graduated from the ECAL in 2012. I'm the son of a restaurant owner. I lived about 25 years in a restaurant. I work a lot with gastronomy. I love to eat. And about my work, I will make it quick. We are a team of two. I work with a trainee, and I mostly design lamps and interior design, and also products for the gastronomy and articles for art galleries and so on. About this space, well, welcome to my office. It's not a co-working space, it's Le Lab. Le Lab, the concept behind it, it's an innovation lab. Well, it's the other part of my job as a designer, is to help companies to improve products and services with design methods. So we needed a big space to organize workshops here with a large amount of people. Well, symmetry. When you talk about symmetry as a designer, it's kind of a special word because we love it. But symmetry is, for us, the symbol by excellence of unity. It's the synthesis of two opposites. It's also sometimes a little trigger for creation, because it's only, when you see it, a duplication of one side to another. It shows the unity of the conception for us. It helps us a lot, either about artificial or natural symmetry. The brain is constructed morphologically in symmetry, but the way it works, the way the brain works, isn't symmetry at all. On your right hemisphere, you will deal with emotions and being more intuitive and creative. And the left one will be in charge of the logical process and rationality. But there is something really interesting to say about the brain and how it works. It's that it's the laterality. For example, your left side of your brain will deal with the right side of your body about the processes. And not to forget the fact that the eye, for example, your left eye goes to the right side of your brain. So we have in appearance a symmetry, but in the functionality it's not a symmetry. This is the fact that is interesting with our body and especially our brain. It's quite asymmetrical, in fact. So, I work a lot with gastronomy. I love to cook. I love the chefs. I love to design plates and tableware for them. And I also noticed that they love the symmetry. They love to work in symmetry, and especially with ingredients that are not really symmetrical, in fact. Let's make a small exercise, because we want to know. We always say that the beauty is induced by the fact of the symmetry. For example, we noticed that a beautiful face, for us, to our eyes, has to be symmetrical. Let's make a small exercise. Just look at the picture, put your eye on your nose, or your finger on your nose, sorry. Just look at the picture. I think you are going to notice that you have two fingers, in fact. This is the reason why our eyes love symmetry. This is called the stereoscopy. Both eyes see one thing, the brain recreates it, recreates the depth of view, but also loves the symmetry of that. It's easier for your brain to recreate symmetry because you have two eyes. This was really important for me to say. And symmetry in design. Symmetry is also about duplication. Symmetry is about copycatting. This is a few projects. You think it's the same designer, the same project, but it's not. Above you have on your left Raphael Lutz, on your right Sebastian Herkner, two famous designers. The projects are from 2018. They are similar. It's a symmetry. Same for the chairs. On your right you have Jörg Bonner, famous Swiss designer, 2010. And on your left you have Andres Mieritaran, sorry for the name, 2017. And so on and so on and so on. So symmetry in creation is also about duplication, but we can play with it. We can play with symmetry. Nature, you think it's kind of a symmetrical aspect, but no, for most of the nature, the construction of the parts is based on the fractals. Maybe a good subject for the next Creative Mornings. Let's go inside of some user cases. Symmetry, for me, is the relationship I have with my customers. We have an example of work. I worked for, about 2 years ago, I had a project with a small restaurant in Crissier. I don't know if you know it, Hôtel de Ville de Crissier. It's quite not a bad restaurant at all. And they asked me to design a tray for a major competition, major cook competition. The name of this competition is Bocuse d'Or. Bocuse d'Or is the 24 best young cook in the world that are going to be judged by the 24 best cook in the world. It's like Top Chef, but for the real ones, for the real guys. And we worked, I teamed up with the cook that represented the Switzerland for this competition. So there was a symmetry between them and me as a designer to the end user, the final user, the people that are going to see this tray. So, in fact, the cook dealt with all the kitchen, and I dealt with the design of the tray. And the first thing I asked them is, can we play with asymmetry? No, it has to be symmetrical. Okay, but why? It's really important for us that the object is symmetrical because it's going to be seen on the four sides. Okay, no problems, very special. So this is the first project I made that had to be really symmetrical on all aspects. For me it's quite bizarre because I really love to play with asymmetry and geometrical lines and, well, to play with it. This is another symmetry I would like to mention, is that on your right you have the plate as it is, as I designed it. And on your left, this is the second project I made with this plate, with this tray. The technology we used to make all the small waves on the plate was really interesting to explore as mirrors. So an art gallery asked me to sell just the plate without any accessories on it as mirrors. So when you do a project, there is also symmetry for another use, for another play with it. This is our cook representing the Switzerland, sorry, and preparing the stuff. And this is what interests us, the final use. So the plate, you work 6 months on a project. For a designer, it's a long time for such a small piece of design. But the product only lasts 5 minutes. They just present it in front of all the jury that is seated on large tables. They pass it, and behind them they have the public. There is a huge crowd, about 5,000 persons that are shouting, "Yes, Switzerland, Switzerland, Switzerland." And this is the reason why it had to be symmetrical. And in the history of all the Bocuse d'Or plates, and there is a lot of Bocuse d'Or plates that were done and designed, all of them are symmetrical. And I was quite a little bit sad because I wanted to play, but it's the rule. Sometimes you cannot play under the rule. Let's talk about asymmetry then. Last year, we had to make a small project of tableware for a chocolaterie. Sorry, I don't know the word in English. Chocolate factory, exactly. They asked us to design a carafe and a plate for the brunch and the bowl and a small cup for serving hot coffee and hot chocolate. And we played a lot with geometrical lines. We designed parts that were totally symmetrical. And we also added the fact that because of the waves you have on the plate and also under the bowls, you have the possibility to introduce the asymmetry because you can move the bowl, for example, on the waves. Symmetry is also about the point of view. We designed the small plate here with the real idea of having symmetry for the most part of the object, but also an asymmetrical way for the small wings we have on it. And I insist on the fact that symmetry is induced really by the point of view. When you see something, for example, when you see a banana is not symmetrical, but when you turn it, it's symmetrical. And it depends the point of view and also on the fact that you can play with the elements and introduce asymmetry. For the cook and for the people we designed it, it was really a pleasure for them to see that they were able to play with the lines and play with the geometrics. They understood what we were making. This is a small project we made at the end of last year. It's called Designer's Table. Designer's Table is a table d'hôte we organize here. And it's kind of a research project on tableware design and experience about the food and the way we eat. And in that project, this is the third example of the way I see symmetry. We played with the rules of 1/3, 2/3 for the design, and also with all of asymmetrical lines, just to introduce dynamic and to make a play with the objects. The only object that is symmetrical is the main plate, but the rest is, for example, here you have 1/3 and the rest 2/3, and you also have the lines that breaks the symmetry of the object. This is a play we make as designer because symmetry is boring, in fact. Symmetry is the easiest way to create. And, well, as you can see, when you see it from above, it's symmetrical, but on the other side, it's not symmetric. And this one is really symmetrical. I'm sorry, this word comes a lot, symmetry. It's like what we are making right now. I'm talking to you about stuff, especially about symmetry, and you are here to learn things. And it's the question of the point of view, because what I say to you, you are going to accept it, to work on it in your brain, and then you will have your own point of view on symmetry. And this is the dessert, totally asymmetrical. And voila. Sorry, it was a little bit quick. If you need any information or stuff, don't hesitate to go on our Instagrams or Facebook or ask me any question. It was a pleasure of having you. Thank you very much.